Firstly, this is a direct message to everyone behind the making of this trailer. You are unstoppably talented. This was one of the most beautiful looking, hype injected teasers that I have ever seen. Aside from everything that we're going to talk about in this video, the devs did hide some things that I caught onto. So listen, aside from the hype of the entire trailer and reading through, replying to all of the great comments you left on my last video, thank you guys so much for that as well, by the way. I took the liberty of going frame by frame to see if we can actually catch out on anything secret that Embark decided to slide in. At 12 seconds in, we'll firstly start with the new map or arena that the finals will feature. This is noticeably different from the more relaxed town environment that we're used to in the alpha, but this is essentially one of my favorite parts about the trailer. It just looks so calm and quiet here, like before the storm, which is basically the opposite that we've been used to seeing as an audience watching these trailers. But along those rooftops that you can see, it just kind of screams that echo of that fast-paced action explosions that we have in the back of our minds. Now, we'll actually screenshot this a little bit later because I hope, okay, but I think I'm the only person that may have found the little secret here about this map, and I'll explain more. For example, on the map Siege of Shanghai on Battlefield 4, after shooting the heck out of one of the skyscraper buildings, the building would actually entirely collapse and change the map's layout and objectives. Cranes don't typically have a wrecking ball attached to them, do they, Embark? So could this potentially be added carnage that could be activated either through some events or essentially through an activated button? Well, take a note of the crane's position here, because we'll actually come back to this. At 21 seconds in, it looks as if we have multiple deployable shields to hold off an area, which is going to be helpful if you're taking over an area to secure, or either you're going to be reinforcing to defend against incoming threats. Another ability is shown off here as well, which is essentially that deployable turret. This is obviously to hold off or even suppress an area. This was actually slightly shown off in that alpha playtest, however, this variant of the ability is way more advanced. It actually seems here as if the turret mounts onto flat areas, so I'm going to assume above, below, and potentially on the walls. This is actually really cool because essentially you could find some really fun places, potentially above doorways, to surprise an incoming enemy if they actually decide to enter the building to attack. I'm also wondering if the turret actually has a range or not, so unfortunately you might not potentially be able to place this turret sky high as like a kind of pave low to be able to help you out with your battles below. At 28 seconds in, we can see that there is the classic Heavy's Charge ability. This is obviously one of the abilities that was super fun to see from the alpha, and essentially it just allowed you to melt everything in your way. Most people will probably be using this to clear a path or even execute some kind of sudden surprise attack inside of an opponent's held area. A fun concept could actually be using two heavies, one to break into the contested area.
I don't know how bad this is. Okay, alright, this is obviously why I'm not an artist. I'm trying my best here, okay? I'm trying my best.
Leaving the third player, either like a heavy or a light, to grab the money box, and then the second heavy to actually break out from a different place for some kind of like swift juice up swap style smash and grab. We can see at 29 seconds in, those deployable shields earlier, they actually have gaps or holes in, so I'm going to assume that these are breakable from shooting them, as it'll be a bit OP if the shield was actually, you know, basically invulnerable for example, from different attacks. Some very cool small feature that I saw at 34 seconds in was actually the money box holder's logo lights up. It slowly fills, you can just see there at the very end. So essentially you can actually know the progress until it unlocks, and that's obviously very helpful if the UI either doesn't show that for you, or you're potentially distracted in the fight. You can just quickly glance down and take a look at that money box holder's logo. So essentially what I think this is that this box here is immovable, so you can't really move it or anything like that, but once the time has essentially ticked and run out, the money box pops out of that, so then it gives everyone on the map enough time to get to the location, just in case other spawns around different areas manage to get to that place first. At 37 seconds in, we have a new ability, the Heavy's Slam Down ability. I've never seen this before, but this just looks like tons of fun, and it essentially enables you to collapse a floor floor beneath you. So maybe with that kind of method that I spoke about earlier, the strategy, right, with the 2 heavies, I wonder if you could, you know, do something crazy where one breaks in, one slams the floor below you, and then you just kind of ruin everyone who's holding off a floor. That would just be another fun thing to test out. At 40 seconds in, we can see that team that took the money box leaves the building and then it runs across the bridge, and this looks like essentially what could be another team stopping them, right? Because we had the fight that was back in the building that they came from, so this is essentially just going to confirm that kind of 3v3v3v3 for now, is what I'm potentially seeing, although some things do pop up later on, and this is probably where maybe the devs are smiling here because they're seeing something that I've found that's just a little bit different. But at the moment, this is kind of confirming that 3v3v3v3, because they are fighting in one building. There was 2 teams in there. They've left and ran across the bridge, and what I assume is another team is the third of that 3v3v3. Oh, that's such a mouthful. So at 42 seconds in, we get this really sick ability. This is the jump pad. Outplays with this will happen. Okay, that's just something that's going to be guaranteed. My question is, I wonder if other classes can actually use this as well. So for example, you could have like some sniper on the jump pad, and if that is possible, then we'll definitely be getting some kind of like optic gaming montages or something if so. 45 seconds in, we can see the bridge actually is destructible. So I did notice though on how the bridge is destructible. I saw here that there are actually explosions on either side. It doesn't look like that was easily done from gunshots. So the question would be, well, was this planned from another team, either by utilizing things like sticky bombs on either side of the bridge, or what I think may be possible is that it looks like some kind of like button was pressed or some trigger was pressed, just basically because the explosions here just look a bit too clean, and that's just something that I'm thinking of, like, hey, you know, this doesn't look as natural, it doesn't look as easily planned. 48 seconds in here, we can see that a player transports into the world. Now I have a different couple of like theories or questions on this, but maybe he respawned in, but if he respawned in really, really close to where the box is, or the box is currently. So is this a too good to be true kind of scenario? On top of that, it looks like this player is actually only holding a taser. So could this potentially be some sort of ability that, you know, allows you to teleport near the current money box location? Or is this some kind of planned attack onto the player? Because a little bit later on at 50 seconds in, we can see that the teammate behind does snap out of invisibility, but it's not as clean as when we saw it a little bit earlier where the player actually transports into the world. So either this is some kind of respawn, so if it was, that's a little bit close to the money box, or it could essentially be some kind of ability. It could even be the player leaving invisibility as well, so that's just something that we're going to have to track over the next coming months. Because you can see that his teammate here does leave the invisibility, so it looks like this kind of attack was planned. However, this could just be something that Embark are doing just to make it look really cool. I mean, let's not, you know, fault to say this looks really, really sick for this transition of a scene. But, you know, I'm just saying it looks a bit like, hey, did he either respawn near the money box, which is a bit weird? Did he leave his invisibility ability, or did they join the game mid, you know, round like that? I don't know, and it's a little bit different. It's a bit too early to comment on that stuff. I think that Embark most likely had this in there just for the cool graphics design and things like that. Maybe it's what it looks like when you leave invisibility, I'm not too sure. 51 seconds in. This is exactly what I was asking for in my previous video. We get that commentator hyping up and reacting to the actual gameplay.
And he gets the backstab! What a steal!
Maybe we hear this and the crowd in the game, but if not, it just feels so sick to actually see something I was hoping for manifest its way into the game.
Oh, I hear it now.
And they had the crowd noise, dude! That is insane!
People in the comment section were actually talking about this on the finals comments video, how this moment for them just felt really significant, and that this is exactly what I was pushing for when I wanted Embark to include this. You can tell by this scene, everything here is like 2x'd. Everything here is more significant, and the backstab, the commentator for that was super awesome, and that was also cool as well, which actually brings us on to our next point. Backstabbing lights, I think, are an insta-kill. I actually never really tested out this theory, as I didn't give light as much love as I wish to. I will be giving light a lot more love in the beta. But yeah, it's what I'm saying here is that it looks like lights are an insta-kill, so they do have lower health. 56 seconds in, the inspect animation. I'm pretty sure that is an inspect animation for guns. So that's going to be a lot cooler. I think there was already an inspect animation in alpha, if I'm not mistaken. I can't really remember now. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it still looks obviously really cool. You can see the inspect animation here with the pistol. I'm assuming that's an inspect animation. It doesn't really look like a reload. That's why would he put his hand on top of the gun to reload? But yeah, it's just super sick to kind of see those small details in the game as well. 57 seconds in. Now, this is something that I think Embark have hidden from you. The crane. Essentially, what we can see here is the comparison between the crane in the very start of the video with the screenshot that we said we would grab earlier and the crane now. So what it looks like here is that the crane actually moves. There's a wrecking ball on the crane as well, so this could essentially be something that is controlled by you, the player, or is something that is a random event within the game as well. This scene as well, with the running across the crane, was super awesome, and that was just so fun to watch. At 59 seconds in, you can see we get another ability here as well, so it looks like a springy type of grapple for light here. I think this is so cool. It makes light a lot more viable and fun now for kind of moving around the map faster, so I will be definitely playing more light and obviously giving light some love. At 1 minute in, we've already seen 4 teams, so potentially there are also more teams in the game. Either that or there's some form of teleportation within the map, which is why it looks like it's a 3v3, v3, 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 right? Or you know, more players as well in the map. Or it could just essentially be some sort of teleportation so that you can go from one building to another in order to be able to catch up to the action that's happening of where the money box is actually moving. At 1 minute and 2 seconds, we can actually see someone placing down sticky bombs on a bin. Alright, in the UK, we call it a bin, alright? But for the sake of global outreach, I'll call it a trash can. This is actually a cool example of how you, the player, can essentially defy the limits in this game. We can literally make our own metas and playstyles, and this is just something that's super exciting to be able to see what happens, where the community bring it, what people do in the future. At 1 minute 8, there are actually multiple things I captured from this scene. First of all, we can see that there's some sort of healing gun, and it's unknown if this gun does anything other than healing, but for those Overwatch support players out there, here's some space for you too. Another sneaky Embark move here is potentially confirming a new game mode or player mode. We can actually see there's 5 players within this shot fighting it out within another team. At the same time, this is actually the same combat that was happening earlier with the 2 players who actually took the money box and ran across the bridge. So essentially what we're seeing here is potentially some sort of alternative game mode. I think it likely confirms that we're seeing that, maybe like some sort of 10v10 team deathmatch style, as these are obviously very likely the same players that we saw in that scene, but multiple players were shooting them already there. So I would actually love to play the finals in a larger style environment, but how would this handle with so many players and abilities, for example? You know, maybe the abilities are delayed, or maybe the abilities are a little bit longer. I was going to go like tinfoil hat kind of style and kind of say that this is an alternative game mode for esports potentially. Like it could be some sort of 5v5 match, but more realistically here, I think this is a brawl style deathmatch with like a 10v10, for example, or something similar along with that. At 1 minute 22, cheese. I actually have no idea what this cheese is for. Maybe some sort of like fast heal or something, or it's like some cosmetic knife or something. I actually don't know, but I kind of find it funny. There's just randomly some cheese in the scene. At 1 minute 33, we get to see a super cool, what looks to be a mechanic. Essentially, we have a vent which you're able to insert the money box inside, and then that actually transports, or I guess pipes, the money box to an alternative location. At 1 minute 35, we get to see the sniper drop off here, which in my opinion, it really resembles that Battlefield shooting experience. So players from that field of sniping in Battlefield would likely have a great time sniping those lights flinging across the sky. I saw a few people wondering where the location of the sniper is relative to the map, and I'm pretty sure it's located here in the upper portion of the map. But this is obviously a great spot if you want to hold off an area whilst your team is boots on the ground, sniffing cheese, and, destroying buildings. Also, of course, the sniper itself isn't made, entirely from cardboard, because why not? I mean, it's a really cool skin concept, I'll give it that. At 1 minute 37, we can see the hints of a Molotov grenade. And at 1 minute 38, again, the Embark team sneakily including this in here. We have what I'm assuming is some sort of night vision ability. Either that or it's one of those random elements that you can get. Essentially, it's just like a random effect like day, night, or fog taking place before you hop into one of the rounds. This will be cool to find out later down the line, but I'm pretty sure that is a night vision from my kind of Escape from Tarkov experience. At 1 minute 38, we get a new shield, but from what the finals are showing here, I think this actually lets you temporarily go into third person. So this may not be like a big thing I'm going to give here, but maybe could this be abused, if you don't actually put the ability down? Could you go in and out of like third person to see around the corner? At 1 minute 40, how dare you, King Nama. At the end of the trailer, we can see that finally we can play the finals on the 7th of March 2023. If you're wondering if this game will be worth your time or not, or somehow the trailer doesn't speak for itself, all I ask is that you sign up for the beta on Steam using the link below, and just try out a few games if you get access, okay? I knew since Alpha that this game, this company, this team were cooking something special. Even though we may have concerns and obviously things that we'd want to see in the game, at the end of the day, this is going to be one hell of a game, okay? And I can promise you that your favorite streamers and creators will likely be playing this game very soon as well. Thank you to the team at Embark Studios for the recent support that they've shown me, but also thank you to you, the viewer. And you guys have just been sitting through my video, liking it obviously, and obviously subscribing. I'm making content because I'm passionate about this game, and right now I'm super motivated to bring you, all the content I can, when I can. I stayed up very late last night writing a lot of the points and stuff that I saw during the trailer. I was literally watching it frame by frame. But anyway, until next time, my name has been Thix, and I will see you all on the podium in the finals.